was I was at the convention, and I sit down with Eddie Robinson, the head coach at Grambling. You know, we were just sitting there just talking one day, and, you know, he said, you know, I see a lot of young men here at this convention, and everybody wants to keep going to the white institutions and think that that is where football was originated from. And he said, you know, if all you guys have all that knowledge, why don't you just, you know, come back to the black universities and, you know, give back. And, you know, I just kind of went home and I kind of slept on that, and I kind of thought about what he talked about. And it just kind of hit home with me a little bit. So what I did, that's when I applied at Morgan State University and became the assistant head coach and the defensive coordinator. And I was at Morgan State for 2 years, which was different when you at a black institution, a little bit different when you're at the white institution, because, you know, they have a lot of money. Everything is always provided for you, and it sits right there on the table for you. But at Morgan State was an opportunity for me, you know, to mature and, you know, go back into my own setting. And there was a lot of work. You know, we didn't have all the resources and everything that you would have at young large universities. But I worked there for 2 years, and then had the opportunity and left there and went to Eastern Michigan with Ryan Cooper, a coach who used to coach at Notre Dame, was a black coach, and had his first opportunity and was looking for some good coaches to back him up. So I said, I'll go over and help Ron at Eastern Michigan. So I went to Eastern Michigan and worked with Ron Cooper at Eastern Michigan for a while. And then after that, I had an opportunity to become a head coach. I mean, it's another assistant head coach, and I felt like this was another good opportunity, and it brought me back closer to home, because Michigan is 4 hours from Ohio. So once I, you know, took the job there, I worked for him, got a lot of recruits. We did a good job there, and then an opportunity to go to Cincinnati, which puts me right in my backyard. I hadn't seen my mother and father them in a long time. You know, now this puts me 45 minutes back home, and, you know, and I come from a large family, and it was just good to get back home and see my little nieces and nephews and, you know, spend a little closer time, family time with my mother. Then after leaving there, I had an opportunity to leave Cincinnati, an opportunity to apply for the job here at Tennessee State. And who influenced me to apply here was by alumnus named Ivory Sewsbury out of Dayton, Ohio, which you went to school here at Tennessee State. And they called me on the phone when I was at Cincinnati, and they said, you know what? They said, I tell you what, you're an energetic young man. I tell you what, Tennessee State been down 8 years. I think, you know, you should apply for that job. So I applied for the job, and the first time it was kind of like, you know, I didn't get in the first 5 cut, and I was at the coaching convention, and somehow when I left the coaching convention, I came home, and me and my wife, we went to the coaching convention, and I got a phone call from Howard Gentry. He said, we would like to interview you for the job. And I just said, well, it's kind of like a, you know, short notice. And he says, well, you know, I want to hire somebody this weekend. I was like, wow. You know, I talked to my wife, and she said, boy, sure is a short notice. And I just felt like, you know, I've been a football coach all my life, and when you're a football coach, everything is a short notice. So I said, well, let me pull some things together, call Mr. Gentry, and I said, all right, I'll be there. So I got everything together, and I stayed up all night, and my younger brother helped me, which he was the offensive coordinator with us right now. So I stayed up to about 4:30 in the morning getting everything ready. And then when I got home that night, you know, you're all wind up, and you're kind of thinking about, you know, what you're going to be prepared for. And so that night I just came home, the dog looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, well, I'm still winding up, and he was winding up. So I said, let me take him for a walk. So we just walked around the block, and because I had a 7 o'clock flight to leave out, so I just walked the dog, and I came home just to cut down some of the nervous energy. And then I just went to bed that night, and then I got up that morning, and you know, really didn't really sleep. I just laid in the bed, and my mind just kind of wondered about what I was going to say and how I was going to do my presentation. And once I got on that airplane, I just kind of thought about it. You know, and I got here and just went to work, and I guess I was able to convince everybody that I had a plan.
Very good.
To win.
And of course, we've got a minute commercial break coming up here, Coach Cole, and after which we'll talk about that plan, because I think it has been talked about time and time again throughout the media, and we'll talk about the plan and other things. We'll be back with you in just a